Started working on problems in Mendelson. Worked on selected problems from chapter 1 and selected problems from chapter 2. I left a few at the end of chapter 2 that I think I may come back to. There's at least one that's a dedekind problem, but I'm not sure if I will. But the problems in chapter 1 were general, easy, matched really well with some problems that I had already done in Hammock. And the reason why I'm inviting Hammock into this video is because I actually think if I had known way back when I did Hammock and I started doing what I called proofs 2 that I dropped because I wanted to do other things, in hindsight, I think these two books together would form a very good proofs-based course because this book has all the constructions and this book has pretty much everything else that is introductory. Anyways, enough about that. So yeah, just going through the problems in chapters 1 and 2. I'll briefly show the book and then go on and show my work. So simple basic work in chapter 1, just laying out logic, relations, some logic, some relations, unions, intersections, Cartesian products, all just the foundations for a number systems course. Composition of functions. And then in chapter 2, of course, piano systems. And of course, it goes through the progression of doing addition, then multiplication, then exponentiation. And so all the proofs, when you start working on the proofs, the ones for addition have some simple equations that are part of the piano, that build on the piano axioms. And then in the case of multiplication, you always figure a way to get them to addition, and you clean it up with the addition theorems. And then in the case of exponents, you do the same, but you actually have two steps. You do exponents, and you do multiplication, and then you do addition. So that's basically the theme of the problems in chapter 1 and chapter 2. And so this is my problems notebook. And I've already got here the chapter 1 and chapter 2 of Bardo and Sherbert. I had already started. I actually did, let me zoom out. I actually started on these problems way back, but then I dropped it because I wanted to do a lot of reading, which is unusual for me because I like to do problems, a lot of problems. And so I'm very happy to report that now I am nearing the 100-page problem set, which I really like. I'm a huge fan of a 100-page problem set. So again, logic, very simple material for me now these days because I had this material in Hammock. Power sets, some proofs about power sets, unions, intersections, composition of functions, relations, of course, symmetric, transitive, and reflexive. Finding out what is an equivalent relation. It's got to have all three. Working through examples of what's transitive, what's symmetric, and what's reflexive. Actually, this shouldn't say transitive, should say reflexive. Then getting on to functions, compositions, and then a few proofs where you start off. And it's very important to follow the exact order of everything that you're doing because in these simple constructions, you really have to follow every single theorem, and it's very basic. I don't know how to say it any better, but you can't just do 4 plus 2 and say, oh, it's 6. Or you can't say 2 plus 4 is just 6. You actually have to follow through with each theorem to build that up to the point where you get the sequential function, and then you're there. And yeah, I did a few more, and yeah, that's my progress for Mendelson.